What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast.
I swear to God.
Brought to you by Brantford Comic Con.
Holy hell.
So Andrew, stay with us at the end. When the outro plays, stick around.
You got
it. You guys, you're just getting here. That's right. We have a guest. If you're watching us on YouTube, especially if you're watching us live now, you're going to notice we are down one bad guy.
Man down.
But we do have an ACA.
We do.
Mr. Complex. How you doing, buddy?
It's another day in southwestern Ontario. It's bitterly cold. It's brutal. I had to work, but it's Thursday. I don't know what that means because it's another Thursday. Another podcast for you guys as we do. But we had a guest again this week. I think it's the third week in a row we had to get to. It didn't go like Alan and then we were off and then Steve.
Yeah, we had Joseph, we had Alan, and then we were off, and then we had
Steve McGinnis,
and then we had and then our last like 5 or 6 episodes have been guests.
And our last 2 have been guys from Brantford for some weird ass. Why are we talking to all these guys from Brantford?
Yeah, there's something in the water in Brantford, I think.
Well, I mean, yeah, Wayne Gretzky's pissed basically because that dude like owns that. Andrew's like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't want to. Guys, it is a comic book artist and letter extraordinaire, Andrew Thomas. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Hey, boys. Thanks for having me.
I have no idea how we get these guests. Andrew, I've been in the Southwestern Ontario cosplay scene for, I don't know, like 12 years maybe. And I've seen you so many times.
Likewise.
Throughout Southwestern Ontario. I don't know if we've ever had any level of interaction at any of these cons, so I'm really glad I'm getting a chance to finally talk to you.
I think we did mingle at the London after party last year.
Oh, yes.
In the restaurant, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was there, my battery was depleted, and I just wanted some food in there, and Jeff's like, hey, how's it going? I'm Jeff, and I'm like,
give me some food.
Men want food, beer. Men leave now. That's trust me, my battery's pretty low too. We were definitely overcompensating. Andrew, man, intricately involved. In fact, one of the creators, or at least one of the starters for Brantford Comic Con. Is that? Do we have that right?
Kinda. Definitely one of the behind the scenes guys. James and Shane are the two main partners, and I'm just kind of more behind the scenes in the terms of like I do all the graphics, like so all the digital marketing and stuff like that. So everything visually you see is usually me. I'm working on like the website, all the nitty gritty that people don't realize that goes into planning a con. I'm kind of just doing that, but I mean I'm also there as a guest, for my comic book work. So I wear many hats.
And just for people that maybe don't know you or haven't seen your work, can you give us a really quick Cole's Notes version of who Andrew Thomas is and maybe why we'd be talking to him on a podcast today?
Yeah, so I'm a comic book artist and a comic book letterer, and I've been doing it for about, 15 years or so. I've done lots of lettering work from like Captain Canuck to Kevin Smith's Quick Stops, and I did some work for Image and Boom, and then I've done like cover work also for Kevin Smith, like the Archie books, Jay and Silent Bob, Godzilla, Ninja Turtles, Star Trek. I did a couple of those, and so I'm just enjoying myself, drawing pictures and lettering stuff and all that.
And is that the full-time gig? That's what you do?
It was, yeah. Lettering is, I would say, lettering is the full-time gig. That wasn't always the plan, but that's just kind of how things unfolded, and that's where all the work started coming in. And then I'm like, it's just one gig after another gig after another gig, and I'm like, cool, I'll ride that wave.
And absolutely.
And I've done that for what, 13 years at this point, and the more I do it, the more I've kind of like have a deeper appreciation for the craft of lettering, and kind of advocate for that particular art form, or that specific a part of comic book production that not a lot of people notice. A lot of people kind of it just kind of flies by the radar.
I actually want to, when we get to the second half of the podcast, I actually want to talk about that, how it takes a village to make a comic book. And how
Yeah,
each
100%.
people, like you could get 6 or 7 hands on a comic book at one point, and how each of the people, we had a really good chance. We get a chance to talk to Brad Anderson, who is a colorist working with Ghost Machine now. We
Yeah.
2 years ago, Fan Expo. And same kind of thing. Like we had to wait to talk to Jay Fabok, and we had to wait we had to wait a couple of days, I think, to talk to Jeff Johns. But Brad was just sitting there, man, just chilling out. He's sitting right next to Fabok, and we got to just walk up and like one kind of like another one of the unsung heroes. Like people just don't get what those guys do. They're always focused on the, what are they called, layouts now? It's not pencilers anymore, right? Is it layouts now that they call those guys or whatever?
Yeah, depends. Some people will do the layouts, or some people will do it all, where it's just like it's the layouts, and then they'll do the inks.
They'll do the inking,
especially if they're doing it, if it's just one guy doing that.
Yeah. So I want to be able to break that down when we get to the second half of the show. 100%. So you guys know how this works. We'll do some news, we'll do some community news, and then we'll get a chance to talk to Andrew and find out what he does. JS?
Good, a number of people in the chat.
We do.
Silky saying happy Thursday, friends. Midlife costs. Look at that. Our buddy Sticky Ricky. Geeks out there. It's never going to go away.
Is Rob patrolling the streets? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Making sure the streets of Curtis and Oshawa are safe.
Yeah, he's making sure the streets are Yeti free.
Yeah. Yeti free, and none of those teenage hooligans held up the gas stations like the robbery he tried to foil unsuccessfully. I don't know who this. All right. That's Jamie. All right. Is this your post-production beard, or do you already have another acting gig lined up? Neither. I guess it would be post-production beard. Yes. I have no cosplays coming up. I have no acting gigs, so I get to have as much hair on my face as I want to have. And this is
look at the majestic beard on that face, eh? Holy crap. That's some nice beardage, buddy.
Thanks,
that
man.
is some
yours.
Beardage.
I mean, all of us, right? This is the middle-aged man Spanx. This is you get to shape your face any way you want, and covers up all the sins of. Good evening, folks.
Joe's in the chat. Are you back in town, Joseph, or are you still overseas?
Yeah, he was over in the Philippines, wasn't he?
Yeah, Victoria's in the chat. What's up, Victoria?
What's up, Melons? Good to see you. Very cool. Nice digs there, Andrew. Yeah, as soon as Andrew logged on to the pre-show and he logged on with the OG 1701, we were like, "This is our guy, man. He's our people. We'll be good." If we were at all worried, yeah.
Season 2 look. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna let me have this much beard. I did insist that we have the Riker. So the first season of the TV show we shot, I had to be clean shaven, and I told the director that we're Rikering this. I'm having a beard for season 2. He's like, absolutely. Yep. I don't think he's gonna let me have this much beard though. I'm pretty sure he's gonna want something a little more.
Well,
I play a lawyer,
right?
Guy living in the fucking mountains, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to like trim this up and make it look somewhat better, but. You all look fabulous. Thanks, Jamie. We appreciate that. We're
thank you
here for sure. Absolutely. Is it time for the news?
I think so.
It's the news brought to you by holy shit. There was hardly any news this week. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel. Normally, there's at least 5 or 6 cool geek news items. A couple of little things came out today, but man alive, not a whole lot going on in the world of geek news. In fact, I'm going to start. No, you know what? We're going to start this off a little bit smaller. So for any of my video game nerds out there, especially if you like watching people stream video games, Markiplier, if you guys know who Mark Fishbach is, huge streamer, got big on YouTube streaming games like Subnautica and Five Nights at Freddy's series and everything else. He did a movie based on a video game, an indie game called Iron Lung. And not only was the video game is based on indie, so is the film. Because Mark wrote, directed, produced, starred, and I wanted to say published, but I don't know what the term is for movies. Everything he's doing in-house. It's all out of his pocket. He spent $3 million of his own money producing and distributing this film. And it made, I think, nearly 20 million its opening weekend worldwide. So it's the little engine that could. Nobody thought. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet. I would encourage you guys, if you're fans of his, because that's basically how he marketed the movie, was to his fan base. But his fan base is quite extensive, even after all these years, across all his digital platforms. He's got millions and millions of followers. So It's a really cool, neat little success story for like an indie game becomes an indie movie, becomes a hit based off a guy that just has made his career yelling at the camera while playing video games. This is the society we live in. I don't know what to tell you. If you guys are familiar with Markiplier.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my kids were big fans, so they were excited. Especially my youngest daughter, she's if she hasn't seen it already, she's going to. She's very excited. It was a limited release initially, but I think it is in the area now up here in Canada. So, JS, you look like you had something.
It looks dope.
It does. It does.
I mean, it's not the trailer,
on, but it's like a horror. It's very atmospheric.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did watch the his gameplay from like a few years ago when he first played it. Yeah, oh yeah, I think that looks like a lot of fun. Like I'll definitely gonna go check that out.
Yeah. And the guy, I mean, it's almost like an Image Comics type of thing. Like this, like creator owned. He did it all himself. Supporting something like this is the way we get more things like this, not having 100%. To rely on studios and the interference you get from that and yeses and nos and everything else. This is a really, really cool story and hopefully the beginning of more things like this, people coming forward and being able to do that. Excuse me. I'm going to mess this up and I apologize because I can never pronounce this gentleman's name. Chiwetel Ejiofor. I definitely messed that up. He plays Mordo in the Doctor Strange films to star alongside Scarlett Johansson in a new Exorcist movie for Blumhouse and Universal. I think this has been on the sort of hook for a while now. I know they've been talking about this for a bit. Is this in production yet, or is this just they've just announced who's starring in it?
Well, no, I don't know that it's in production yet because they just announced that he's joined the
that he's joined,
right?
Okay.
So I don't think it's actually been filming or anything. Well, I mean, it's probably in pre-production at this point. But.
I would think.
I mean, why do I feel like there was just an Exorcist movie that came out recently?
I kind of feel like there was there not? Yeah.
And what is it? IDW is doing a series of Exorcist comics too.
No, are they tying that into this, or are those going to just kind of stand on their own?
I wish I knew more, but I don't think so. I think it might be just a standalone, but it's just what that exists within that Exorcist, IP, franchise or whatever. Because I don't know how it's structured, but it's like you have The Exorcist, and then there was other movies like The Exorcism of Emily Rose or something like that.
Right.
Which sidebar, fantastic movie.
100%.
Like, that one was awesome.
I don't think they're necessarily all meant to tie into the same story, right? Some are clearly part of one overarching story, and some are just like this last one that we got. I forget what it was called. The Exorcist something. What was this latest one?
Good.
I don't have the fog.
Either way, it was hot
Exorcist
garbage.
Apprentice. I don't know.
Hot garbage. It was some of the dumbest shit that I've seen.
When isn't there a movie that hasn't been remade? Well, kind of like what we're talking about in the previous story. It's this is kind of what we're getting now, right? Like it's how badly can we beat up these IPs before people get tired of it or whatever. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. We did just have another Exorcist reboot. So apparently we're taking another one. Those are two pretty big name stars that are going to be in that one. So and I think we've already discussed Scarlett Johansson's supposed to be coming up in the Batman Part 2 as well. So I don't know how that's all. And I'm pretty sure they've said that they're going to make another Jurassic whatever movie with her in it as well. So she's gonna be a busy lady.
I hope not.
Well, it made a goblet $1 million, man. If people keep buying, why do you think we keep getting Avatar movies, man? If people keep buying tickets, they're gonna keep cranking this piece of shit out. I mean, this is what's gonna happen. So y'all gotta vote with your pocketbooks to stop going to these shit ass movies. Super Bowl this weekend. So February 8th, I believe, is when the Super Bowl is being played. On Sunday, you've got, and I know there's not really a whole lot of sportos that watch this. Of course, we're all geeks and nerds, but you've got the Pats, who took out my beloved Denver Broncos, versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored, but of course, everybody always talks about the halftime show and the trailers. I think Bad Bunny's doing the halftime show, if I'm not mistaken, but the trailers, we're expecting to see trailers for Scream 7, Super Mario Galaxy, Minions 3, and it's unclear where Disney's going to go, but we have heard Moana, Mando and Grogu, and Toy Story 5. It could be 1, 2, or all 3 of those. Who knows? It's $10 million for a 30-second spot at this year's Super Bowl. So you're not going to get a 2 or 3 minute trailer anyway. You're either going to get teasers or truncated or whatever. Like in the case of Super Mario Galaxy, we've already gotten a teaser for that. So yeah, you may not be seeing a whole lot new. I know specifically WB is not running any trailers during the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So it might be an opportunity for Disney to really ramp up on their side.
Neither Sony.
And neither Sony. Yeah. So I don't know, man. 10 million.
Why not?
It's well,
yeah, but it's the most
seconds.
watched event like all year, right? There's going to be nothing else on TV that people are going to be watching more than this event.
It does surprise me that they're not pumping at least a Supergirl one out there.
That's shocking to me that
that comes out this year, like in June, right? I think June that comes out this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're only like 4 months away from that film. So yeah, you're right. I am kind of shocked. I'm wondering if it's got anything to do with the I don't know if turmoil is the word I'm using, but with all the merger talk with Netflix and Paramount surrounding Warner. I wonder if that's kind of might be playing a factor. I don't know. I'm completely pulling out of that ass. That might not be the case.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, maybe if they're in the middle of a deal, maybe they can't spend that kind of money.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I know they had films in production as this deal started, but maybe Netflix stepped in and be like, wait a minute, maybe we don't spend $10 million on 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Did you take that out? JS?
I did.
There is a new, I'm going to say it anyway. There's a new Netflix movie coming out called War Machine. And you might be thinking, no, not that War Machine.
Not that War Machine.
It's a new sci-fi actioner that's starring Alan Ritchson. If you don't know who Alan Ritchson is, he's Reacher on the hit Prime show called Reacher. He's been in a bunch of other things as well. He was in the League of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and he was Aquaman, I believe, on Smallville.
Smallville, yeah.
So he's been around a long time, and he's instantly recognizable because he might be physically the largest man in Hollywood. He's absolutely huge. JS said, have you guys seen this War Machine trailer? You should check it out. And I did. And it's horrendous. So I'm kind of curious for you guys to go out and have a look at this War Machine trailer and tell me your thoughts. Message me, message JS, message something. Put a comment below this. Oh my goodness. JS loves this shit. And I bet you Rob loves all the cheesy sci-fi films too. It looks terrible. Like even the action sequences look horrendous. So I don't know, man. I feel kind of bad for our boy Alan Ritchson. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the trailer's just bad. Maybe the movie's going to be fantastic. I don't think so, but it could happen. It absolutely could happen.
Is it like another one of those like Terminal List or Tomorrow War? You know, like
I don't even think it's that. No, like he's an Army Ranger. They're training. They're going out to like go investigate something or whatever, and it turns out to be this giant mech robot that starts hunting them. I mean, I guess the robot looks okay, but some of like the action sequences and the explosions stuff just looks terrible. Like just looks like an ABC movie of the week kind of thing. So Netflix has not been shy. Netflix has not been shy about spending beaucoup dollars on some of these movies, these original properties they've spent before. So I don't know why this one looks so cheap. But
I have a feeling though that you're right, that this might be one of those things where they shot this
like 3 years ago
before he was a big thing.
And now Richard's a big hit. And
now he's a big hit. They're like, fuck him. Might as well release it.
Was dog shit. Yeah. So
I mean that's possible. Who knows?
Yeah. Really quickly, I haven't checked it out yet, but there is a new trailer for Guy Ritchie's Young Sherlock that's coming to Amazon Prime as well. So
that looks great.
Yeah. So it's Sherlock Holmes at 19. So he's not the. I mean, he was never refined, but he's certainly not the investigator that he ends up becoming. He's a lot more raw and uncut and just more erratic and such. So as a 19-year-old is, I don't know about you guys, but I was a complete dickhead when I was 19. I don't think I've changed a lot. A bigger dickhead when I was 19. And I get the sense that that's kind of what they're doing with this here as well. So it is a series that's going to be on Amazon Prime. I love Guy Ritchie. The Gentleman, Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He's had a bunch of bangers. Rock and Rolla. Not everything has been a banger, but I mean, most of his stuff's pretty tight. And they did a Gentleman called The Gentleman as well. So, but this is, another Sherlock property. So we'll have Enola Holmes still running on Netflix, and now we'll have this running on.
This is Guy Ritchie's third Sherlock Holmes project.
Yeah, because he did the two
with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah,
so that was him as well.
Yeah. So, so when it was first announced, I was wondering if this was a prequel. Actually,
that's not bad. You know what? I wonder if you're right.
That could be.
Yeah, that would be really cool if he finds a way to tie it in. Because I mean,
I
third film in that franchise.
Me too. I actually like them a lot. Yeah,
I love them so much, and I even loved Moriarty. Oh my god, who played Moriarty in Game of Shadows. Richard Harris's son, Jared Harris. Fantastic.
Jared Harris. Yeah,
fantastic. I love Jared Harris, and I thought he did a really good, sinister, muted but sinister version of Moriarty. That was very, very cool. So, yeah, it's another Sherlock Holmes property. I'm hoping it's good. I'm definitely going to check it out. You guys should check it out too. I've got a juicy rumor. I did find a juicy rumor this week. Every week I try to find at least one juicy rumor for JS because he absolutely loves any sort of clickbait, rage bait thing. None of this is confirmed, but apparently Ryan Reynolds is not only prioritizing writing Deadpool 4, it's said to be a proper X-Force movie, unlike Deadpool 2, which introduced X-Force and then immediately killed them all off. Well, most of them anyways. Apparently that's what Deadpool 4 is meant to be. My guess would be so that it's more of an ensemble, much like Deadpool and Wolverine was, and he doesn't have to be in every single scene. He can actually spend time at home with the wife and kid and such. He's mentioned that before, that doing the Deadpool movies is a huge strain on him, but I'm willing to bet he had screen time to share with other people in Deadpool and Wolverine. And if he does actually pull off an X-Force film, then I think he would have. Again, this is a rumor. None of this is confirmed. So don't come at me if this doesn't happen, because he's been very vocal. When he gets asked about Deadpool 4, he's like, no, it's not happening. So, but this juicy rumor says it is, or at least he's working on it anyway. So,
I mean, they brought them back at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Like they're all there sitting around the table with him celebrating his birthday.
Well, everybody they could afford, they're all dead. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Even though they're all dead, they were all there, right?
Yeah.
So
it
stands to reason that with all this multiverse shenanigan, they can just pick up in Deadpool 4 and it's the X-Force are all there, right?
Right. Assuming though it would be before Secret Wars, right? Like, because we're assuming Secret Wars is going to be the end of the multiverse saga, right? Unless they're just going to have that once again as a sort of like a outside the MCU, like almost like an Elseworlds, like a separate property that's running out there. Like it's still going to be another universe, but it's not. They're not going to tie it back into the what they call the 616, what's really what the 19999 or whatever it is, the movie universe. Finally, and I left this one till last, talking about trailers. Monarch. If you guys haven't checked out Monarch on Apple TV, it is part and parcel. It's within the Universal Monster Universe. So your Kong, your Godzilla. Monarch season 1 focus on the birth of Monarch, which is the I don't know what you call it, the global, the international bureau that investigates these titans, these huge monsters like Kong and Godzilla and such, starring Kurt Russell as like a contemporary guy, and then his son Wyatt Russell playing him 40 or 50 years ago, which is a really cool concept that I think worked really well in the first season. The second season trailer for it came out, and holy goddamn shit, we're really starting to blur lines between what we can see TV wise, like on a streaming service, and what we're going to see in a movie theater, because holy shit. So both Kong and Godzilla are in the new thing. There's a brand new Titan that looks like a huge Kraken style ocean Titan that they have to recruit the other Titans to fight and such. And again, that's every one of these monster movies is obviously Titans versus Titans. That's the whole point. But my word, does that trailer? I mean, I really hope they didn't just snatch out all of the key action sequences and that's the trailer, and then that's all you get when the show's on. But
well, it can't be
on this show
a whole series of just constant action.
Oh no, of course not. I get
you can
that.
try.
But
I mean, you can try, but how
man,
expensive would that be, right?
It's not like you see Godzilla at a distance off, like in the being, like, oh
no,
they're all barely rendered.
This
like
trailer, shit's going down.
Holy balls!
This trailer felt like this should have been like, they were talking about making a new Godzilla X Kong, or
that's what I mean. That's what it looks like.
This is what this is. This is the next episode, right?
The next chapter in that saga.
The next chapter. It looks absolutely insane.
Yeah, Chantel saying, season 1 was fire. I agree. This one looks even more so. I'm not going to lie. It looks like they're really like season 1 was sort of like establishing the settings, the characters, the world. And now it's like, all right, fuck you guys. And just bringing in all the Titans and seeing what happens. So, and then just stirring the pot. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. So I encourage you to do the same.
Yeah.
Saw the first 2 episodes for Monarch this week. It's kind of making me want to get Apple TV. Yeah. I'm in the middle of watching Foundation on Apple, and I'm really digging that too.
Oh, yeah. My buddy Bruce keeps telling me that I have to watch Foundation. He loves that show.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I'm like 4 episodes in, and I don't have the foggiest clue what's going on. I'm really hoping there's going to be some kind of epiphany for me at some point. I haven't read much Asimov, and I certainly haven't read the Foundation series, so I don't have any like basis for knowledge, but man alive. Again, another show. They've spent some money on this show, man. And another show with Jared Harrison in, who I love. So yeah, I'm really, really digging that one. So
cool.
that is the news, guys. If you have news items that you think should be on the Geek Boutique podcast in the news segment every week, you can message me on Instagram or Facebook, or you can message the main Geeks and Co account and give us your news items. And if we find them worthy, we will read them on here. Please make sure they're ethically sourced pieces, unless you do have some clickbait, rage bait piece of shit news that JS will get all over. He loves that shit. Give me that stuff. That's like chicken soup for his soul. Otherwise, that's it for the news this week, guys. I think we need to move on to the community news.
Community news. Oh, man. This one just doesn't get old.
Yes.
Community news.
Yes, it does. Silky, I hate you so much for that, by the way.
Oh, boy, oh,
brutal.
boy, oh, boy.
Brutal.
Guys,
Podcast.
we got to start off right away the community news with, obviously, Brantford Comic Con 2026. Saturday, May 9th, Lions Park Arena in Brantford. They helped set this up, so we got to mention them right off the top. But Action Figure Comic Con was last week.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit on the podcast last week. They had a bunch of cosplayers there. So first of all, shout out to those guys. And shout out to Natasha, Canadian Angel Cosplay. She got her first feature last week at Action Figure Comic Con. So Natasha, congrats. I know you were really psyched about it. It's freaking awesome. Wish we could have been there to go check it out. I heard it was a really good time. Hopefully we get to check it out next year. Looks like an amazing show. Did you guys know? Did you know? Oh, I should have kept it for a did you know?
No,
I really should
please
have.
don't. Please don't.
No.
No,
Can I
please
play the
don't.
intro?
No, please
Can
don't.
I?
Please, if
No?
you,
Oh.
if
Okay. Okay.
Do it.
Toronto.
don't encourage him.
Guys, Toronto Comic Con is 6 weeks away.
Fuck.
It sure is.
Yeah. Are you going, Andrew?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you just attending as a patron, or are you gonna have a table?
No,
What are you doing?
I'm there as one of the comic guests.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very, very cool.
You can
So
see
if-
my picture on the website. It's all
Yeah. Oh, is that all? Just your picture?
Yeah,
on the
just
website?
the actual. It's not even. Thankfully, it's not a picture of my face. It's
That's just your art.
just my art. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I see.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
a brag.
Yeah. No. Not a humble brag at all. No. No, I'm just up on the website. It's fine. It's fine. A patron, like I'm gonna buy a ticket, like a pleb. No, Jeff. No, I'm a guest. Thanks. TO Comic Con. Yeah, man. 6 weeks. The crunch is real, guys. If you haven't started your project yet, you don't have a lot of time. So
yeah, if you're like me and who usually likes to leave everything last minute, yeah, 6 weeks
there we go.
away, and
Steph Stan, I have so much to sew. Yes, you do.
yeah.
The problem is Steph has 27 hobbies, so that's not. Her
Well,
time crunch is a little bit worse than ours, but
Yeah. Steph, do you also have a table this year? You must have a booth at Toronto Comic Con.
I would
usually
assume
do.
so. She usually does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
she's on the website or anything, but I mean, I'm pretty sure she's got.
We're gonna skip ahead a bunch of stuff, guys. We're gonna go right to the last weekend of April, first weekend of May. Shock Stock starting May 29th. May 29th, April 29th through to May 3rd.
Yep.
In London Comic Con. If you don't know Shock Stock, it's a horror themed movie and street festival. Go check it out. Shock Stock on Instagram, Facebook, and I believe it's shockstock.com.
Yeah, run by our good friend Jake, that we all know from London Comic Con. Shockstock even longer than that. I think Shockstock's been around for 15, 16 years, something along those lines. So if you haven't checked it out, I behoove you to go at least once and check it out. Even if you're not a huge horror person, the vibe at that event is crazy. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's in South London. It's a whole weekend event. It's at the Ramada Inn. You cannot book a room at that hotel that weekend unless you're a paid ticket member for the con. So, or you're a guest of the con or whatever. So check it out.
So that also means that if you're coming into London that weekend for either Free Comic Book Day
Mhm.
or our own event, you better be booking your hotels ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because that's right. Saturday, May the 2nd, the Geeks and Company, in collaboration with London Brewing Co-op, presenting our fourth and can you believe that?
I know.
Our fourth annual Star
I
Wars
know.
Day event.
Yep.
May the 4th be with you. Episode 4.
A Brew
A
Hope.
Brew Hope.
That's right.
Nice.
So as you
That's
guys
right,
are aware,
folks.
so we had the conversation with London Brewing Co-op yesterday. We spoke with our friend Lisa from London Brewing Co-op, and we got the ball rolling as we typically do around this time of year, because we are a little less than 3 months away from this event. You guys know how this works. If you've been before, you don't have to come dressed up in Star Wars, but it certainly helps. Proceeds this year are once again going to go to Ronald McDonald House Charities. Last year we raised over $2,000 between the raffle, the vendor tables, and the beer. And I can tell you, we are going to spill some beans here this week. Well, first of all, let me make sure programming wise, it's going to look very similar to last year's show.
Mm-hmm.
No live band. We are going to bring back the cosplay karaoke. We are going to be doing the bingo again, very likely. We talked about possibly looking into doing some trivia, but hold on to that. There's some things in motion. We got to see what's going to happen. We're even going to try to address some of the things that people were, I don't know if complaining is the word I want to use, but some of the frustrations from the last couple of years, mainly access to food. We're trying to make it so that we get more than one food truck on site. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because we just bring so many people out for this event. But more importantly, there is going to be a new beer this year. We did run the Twin Suns beer 2 years in a row because it went over so well both years. And you might be thinking, well, just get complacent, just run the same beer again. And as you guys know,
We should start at the beginning.
yeah, start at the beginning. We had the honey lager, which did well enough that the small batch of that they made disappeared within 3 hours, I think.
I can't remember.
Keg and cans. So the next year they made twice as much in the first iteration of Twin Suns, the light lemon lager, and that I think they made twice as much, and I think it lasted like the same 3 or 4 hours before it was gone. Excuse me. And then for last year we did the same beer again, and they made I think 4 times as much beer.
Yeah.
And I think the keg got drained, and then the cans were all gone within a week. So I think on
we drank the keg that night.
Yeah.
And then there were a few cans left that were sold out that week. Yeah.
And when we're saying keg, we don't mean like a keg. There were 70 liters of this on tap for the event, and that disappeared. And then the cans itself. And as we said before, 50 cents from every can sold also goes to Ronald McDonald House Charities. So we encourage you guys to come out, even if you're not going to be drinking on site, even if you're not the beer person. If you got a beer person in your life, come out to the event, grab yourself a 6 or a 12, give it as a gift, because you're still going to be supporting the charity through Ronald McDonald House Charities. So,
and you got a cool Star Wars themed beer.
You do, which, by the way, the label that you're seeing there was designed by the guy holding it up right there. But because we ran Twin Suns twice, we're like, this year we got to do something different. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, the very next morning. So we ran it on May 3rd last year, I think it was.
Last year was on May the 3rd.
Yeah. So on Sunday, May 4th, 4 or 5 of us are sitting in Wimpy's having breakfast, planning for this event the very next day. And this is what we came up with as far as a beer goes. It's a little bit meta. You kind of have to be a beer person and a geek to kind of get it. But we're going to show you the label that this guy came up with. So it is a Star Wars Day exclusive. So it is a wheat beer with a blood orange infusion. Our good friend Crazy Mike Cosplay came up with that particular flavor and style of beer. If you guys are familiar with beer, a wheat beer is what Blue Moon is. The
Belgian
Blue Moon beer,
Moon,
Belgian Moon, Blue Moon, whatever you want to call it. Which you get a little orange infusion. So the blood orange is a little bit off from that. So instead of it being Belgian Moon, we're calling it That's No Moon, which, of course, Obi-Wan says in Star Wars Episode 4. So, yes, I love Blood Orange, love the logo. So this was designed by JS with the orange turning into the Death Star so we don't get sued. And you can see there's no detail on those TIE fighters so we don't get sued. And the Geeks and Co.
I just drew out those TIE fighters very
we
quickly.
want to make sure we're not breaching any sort of contract. Disney has zero sense of humor when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
it's just a circle and a couple of vertical lines. That's all.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Who could possibly mistake that for something else? So we confirmed all of this yesterday with Lisa. She talked to the brewers. The brewers said they can absolutely do that this year. They don't do a lot of wheaters at London Brewing Co-op, but the last batch they did turned out really, really well. And they have a wheat yeast that they find is working good. So this is the beer you're going to be seeing. When's the Jar Jar beer, says Chantel. Never. But yeah, episode 4, guys. We hope to see all of you out there. We're going to be starting the marketing for this a little bit earlier this year. So keep watching your socials, and you're going to be seeing some reels and some pictures, and we're going to be sharing labels and sharing the poster and all that kind of jazz. Tell your friends. Come on out.
Excited.
It's going to be a great time. Like I said, we're still going to be in the raffle. We're still going to have the vendor area. We're going to have the food trucks again. We're going to be doing karaoke again. So it's going to be a fantastic time.
It's going to be a bunch of players.
There's
There's
a bunch of nerds.
It's going to be quite the Star Wars party. Oh,
Yeah.
and beer. Did we say there's going to be beer?
There's going to be beer.
There's going to be lots of beer.
Yeah. It'd be really great again if we could have a Star Trek landing party as well, because it's okay to like both guys. It's not the 90s anymore. You don't have to fight.
Yeah,
We're all friends.
That didn't actually happen last year, did it?
We have had like one or two onesies or twosies. I'd like to get like a whole away team coming in Star Trek uniform.
Yeah, I
So
feel like
I think Tiffany came in Star Trek. Did Borges
2
come in
years
Star
ago.
Trek too?
Yeah,
I think so. I think
Tiff
it
and
was
Borges
before-
came
yeah,
too. I think it was 2 years ago they came in Star Trek.
Yeah. But I want like Monster Maroon. I want like 6 people to roll up as an away team,
Yeah,
or
that'd
just
be
a bunch
funny
of
as
red
hell.
shirts, and they'll just come in and just lie dead or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
That'd
bring
be
the
funny
Trek,
as
kids.
hell.
Like, don't be
Yeah,
shy.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
not going to ostracize you. And by the way, if you don't have Trek and you don't have Star Wars and you want to wear a completely different costume, that's okay too. If you want to come in your civvies just to drink and support the cause, that's okay too. You don't have to. I've had people be like, "Oh, I'd come, but I don't have a Star Wars cosplay." Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
Come anyways. By the way, if you have a dog, it's dog friendly.
Yeah.
One of the brewers home bakes dog treats on the weekend and brings them in. So bring your dog. Our friend Richard Bakari, he brings his boy, his big beefy boy. So I had my red next gen course at last year. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's Stephanie. She was actually a vendor at the event. So we're going to be having vendors again. Some returning, some new. So we're getting the ball rolling, guys. We're very excited for this year, man. We cannot wait. Be there and be square.
It's always such a fun time.
And then the next weekend after that.
Correct. Brantford Comic Con. That's right. May the 9th in Brantford. And I guess that's a good segue into, we were talking a little bit about it at the top of the show. You were involved in Brantford Comic Con.
Yeah.
This is year 2?
Year 2.
And is there any changes to the format this year? What's new?
As a matter of fact. So Brantford Comic Con happened May 9th. New venue, the Lions Park Arena. So we've basically increased our capacity about 25% since year one. Year one was at the Brandland Community Center, which was kind of like just a gymnasium and all that. We had about 60-ish vendors, and so we had 20. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be better. Lots happening. We have our special guests for Brantford Comic Con is Brian O'Halloran from Clerks.
Cool.
If you're a fan of the Clerks franchise with Kevin Smith and you know who Dante is,
yes,
he's coming on down, and
That's
so
cool.
so is Ming Chen from Comic Book Men. He was actually our guest of honor for year one, and he's back by popular demand.
Very cool. And of course, yourself and Steve McGinnis, you guys are local. You guys will both be there as well.
Yeah, we're on the website. Yeah.
Oh, we got a new meme, guys. I don't think that's getting old anytime soon.
Andrew, I fucking love you, man. You need
Shut
to come back
up.
on,
Don't
buddy.
encourage this shit. Anyways.
Amazing.
Fuck's sakes.
Oh,
So we're never
boy.
having Andrew on again. Guys, say hi to Andrew. He's never coming on again. No. What? So you said you're kind of behind the scenes a little bit as far as Brantford goes. So what was the impetus? Like when we were talking to McGinnis, he was kind of like, it wasn't really, it's a sport casino town. The geek community wasn't really getting served in the area. And I know you guys are kind of close to a lot of what's going on. You're an hour from London, you're an hour from Toronto, you're an hour from this and that. But
we're like in the epicenter of other municipalities, because you got to the north, you got Kitchener, Cambridge up to the north, you've got Hamilton to one side, London to the other, Simcoe down south. I think it was just perfect. But you're absolutely right that the geek culture was not being serviced there. It was definitely a hole that needed to be filled. And so I met up with James. I actually met him because he had started a Instagram account called Brantford Comic Con, and I
Oh,
found
okay.
it just randomly, and I'm like, "Hey, someone already started this. Is this actually a thing?" It
Right.
was just kind of just sitting dormant there, but so I met up with him, and he's like, "Yeah, we'd love to start up a Comic Con here," and so I met up with him. I met up with Shane, and like, well, let's just do it, boys, and yeah, and that's kind of how we're with, they so when we sat to, and we sat down and kind of like started mapping out what we, wanted it to look like.
Yeah.
I kind of brought in a lot of, firsthand experience as, being,
Mhm.
doing cons and all that. And I'm like, well, this is what I think works. Here's what I think doesn't work.
Right.
And so you don't want to go too big too soon. I've definitely seen some cons, they go 3 days
Woof.
right off of the bat.
Yep. Northern National
And
ring a bell, anybody? Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I didn't want to
Woof.
name names, but
Oh, well, we were there, man. So I mean,
oh, I was there too. I was on the website.
we were even on the
Uh,
website for that one. So yeah, for sure. So yeah.
yeah, so we just kind of like played it safe, and I said, "Hey, let's do this a one-day show. Let's see how it goes. Who could we get?" So as soon as we announced it, Ming Chen, he reached out to us and he's like, "Oh my God, you guys are doing a Comic-Con at Brantford. I have to be there." And and yeah, so I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I've known Ming Chen a couple of because we've done a few conventions together,
Yep.
and especially knowing him through Kevin. But so Kevin and company have a kind of a bit of a history in Brantford because they would used to come up to participate in the Walter Gretzky street hockey tournament.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, Kevin was a huge Walter Gretzky fan. Not so much
Yeah.
Wayne, but like Walter Gretzky
His
was
guy.
like yeah, it was his guy. It was a hero to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He would come in, come to Brantford, and Walter would take him, to his house. Apparently, he had like a Wayne Gretzky museum in his basement, and he would kind of show him all kinds
Wow.
of cool, memorabilia and all that.
That's cool.
So he would, then come and play, the street hockey. They actually set a Guinness. Oh, I keep hitting that. They actually set a Guinness World Record in 2012, I think it was, for like the most attendees for a street hockey tournament.
Holy shit, really?
Cool.
Yeah, they
That's
broke a
cool.
record, and I think they held it
Nice.
for like 2 years.
Nice.
But yeah, that it was such a cool thing for that to happen
Very cool.
here in Brantford. So yeah, he reached out. He's like, "I love Brantford. I really want to come,"
Yep.
and we made it happen. So the first year went off. It was just tremendously successful because there were so many people that just jumped on board and helped made it happen. We had so many
Yeah.
community sponsors, help out, and so many just people that wanted to. They were passionate about the idea of having Comic-Con in Brantford.
Yeah.
So yeah, it went over really well. I think we did like over 1,000 people coming through the doors, which we were just blown away by, and we knew we had a hit, and
Yeah.
even the vendors were happy, and they were like, "This was great." The people turned. They showed up.
They showed up.
Say.
Yeah.
They showed up.
Yeah. And that's
And
all you can ask for at the end of the day, right? Especially if
yeah,
you get those local people coming in. Without them, it's just another flea market style con, right? Like if you don't get that local flavor there, you're doomed as far as that goes. So that's very cool. That's what McGinnis was saying when we talked to him last week. He's like, we thought there'd be 100 people through the door. There were more than 100 people lined up before the doors even opened, as far as that goes. So
that's right.
That's very, very
no,
cool.
Steve was there.
Yeah, and we talked to him last week, and he's saying what you're saying, like blown away by the response. And obviously it went well because you guys are moving to a bigger venue, and you're coming back for another year too. Like that's already, the I guess the proof of concept worked. The people came out, and now you're moving to a bigger venue.
So yeah, everything is shaping up, and year 2 is looking fantastic. So not only that, and I don't mean to,
no, go. You're the guest.
But we not only did that, but because not only is it it's a hockey town, it's a sports town, it's also a big wrestling town, and so we did run a wrestling after party after Brantford Comic Con, the Rock and Wrestling after party. One of our guests at Comic Con who was also at the after party was Dan Housen from AEW. Big name wrestler, and so the fact that we got him to come out was a big deal, and then he got to wrestle our local champ, Pretty Ricky Wilde.
Nice.
And so for the Brantford Wrestling Championship, so that was cool. a heck of a day. Oh man, I could get into not only just wrestling, but like the whole indie wrestling culture and all that. It's just
and those two genres, those two fandoms are really starting to permeate within the geek and nerd sphere, right? Like there's a lot of like, it's in the Venn diagram. There's a lot of bleed over between nerds and the wrestling side of things. So.
Comics and wrestling, absolutely. It encompasses kind of like the same space. It got the same, audience, I think.
100%. Yeah.
Because really, wrestling at its core is very much like comics, where it's like it's the good guy versus the bad guy.
100%.
And you're playing a character, and there's 100%.
And you're tussling it out in the ring, absolutely. Yeah,
and storylines and arcs and all that, and sometimes like mini arcs that turn into major arcs, and then you even get the crossovers and stuff. So 100%. Andrew,
these are the guys that were able to figure out how to turn cosplay into an actual paying gig.
You're not wrong.
No kidding. I think we probably spent enough time talking about Brantford. I think we got to talk about you, because that's why we have you on the show. Of course, it was to promote Brantford Comic Con, and I think we've done that pretty well. May 9th, guys, make sure you're checking it out a week after our show. You've been in comics for 15 years.
Yeah, give or take.
What got you into comics in the first place? Like, what was are you self-taught? Was it a bunch of doodling and that kind of got you in, or how did that happen?
I went to school for game design, but really? as a kid growing up, I always wanted to be like a Disney animator, like traditional 2D Disney animator. But by the time college rolled around, I'm like, getting into video games. I thought that was the career path for me. But after I graduated, I really kind of leaned more into the traditional illustration and comics. This was when I graduated college. This was when DC launched the New 52.
Okay.
So it was the perfect jumping on point. I was never much of a collector until that point, so that's when I really started to pay attention to, not only collecting comics but actually reading, reading or keeping up with the stories, as they come out. And it was Scott Snyder's Batman that hooked me from the get-go, which I'm sure is the case for many people. But like that was a phenomenal series, and I could not wait for the next issue. I mean, I'm currently experiencing that now again with Absolute Batman.
And you and everybody else.
Everybody's saying the same thing.
Huge book, right?
Yeah. So it's and so that was the kind of the catalyst, because I not only was I enjoying the story, but I really, really loved the art. Greg Capullo's art on that book was phenomenal.
Crazy.
And it just kind of lit a spark, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this. Like, this is right up my alley. I love comics. I love drawing. Why not? But here's the thing: I didn't necessarily have aspirations to work for like the big too. I always wanted to kind of I love the idea of creating something that was entirely my own, and putting my name on that. This is Andrew Thomas's book. This is his thing,
right?
So independent publishing, and which I have done, yes. And so that was the path, and I kind of was very much self-taught, but I mean, like, learning from all kinds of how-to books, and just kind of like breaking down just basically breaking down what I'm reading, so I'm doing that. I'm reading, I'm going to conventions, I'm talking to other artists, I'm trying to absorb everything that I can. And I wanted to kind of, finally decided to take a crack at it and do it myself. And
talk to us about Auric and how that came about.
Yeah, so Orc of the Great White North is a Canadian comic series that I co-created with my writing partner Davis Dewsbury,
Yeah.
who lives up in Timmins. And the way that kind of all came about was Davis at the time was the artist alley coordinator for the Northern Ontario Expo, as it was called. Now it's called Timmins Con.
Okay.
And he's like, "Hey, I've been following your stuff for a bit. Do you want to coming up to Timmins for the expo?" And you know I'm like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I've never been up that way. I don't think I've ever driven that far before.
10 hours, nothing, no big deal, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, why not? And I came up with this idea that I'm like, hey, what if we did an exclusive like poster, or what if we did something, what if we created our own superhero? And he's like, well, actually, as it turns out, we have a hero already. But I think the year or two before, they had Mike Ruth, another phenomenal
We
Canadian
interviewed Mike a couple
artist.
years ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Great.
he came up with this mascot for the con, and it was this lion-headed, very Viking inspired, Nordic elements, with the bow and arrow. And one of the patrons, or the owner of the comic shop in Timmins, Jump City, she came up with the name of Oric. So it was a community, kind of effort. And then Davis is like, well, we can use this character, and what if we turn, or what if we did a comic? And I'm like that would be awesome. Like we can do a comic series based around this character, tell a short story. And he says, yeah, I'm a bit of a writer myself. Do you mind if I took a crack at it? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So he came back with this 10-page script, and talking about Oric, and how he is over 100 years old, and he used to be a gold miner in 1912, and was exposed to this mysterious gas in the mines. And yep, there he is. And gave him this ability to transform into this lion-headed warrior, and he fights monsters and all that kind of stuff. So but the story kind of picks up 100 years later, after he's kind of like won the war. And he's past this prime. And the idea is that these monsters start showing up again. And so, and now Oric is kind of like second guessing himself, is like, can I take them on? Do I have what it takes? That
Right.
kind of very, very old man Logan-esque.
Yeah. And what were you doing on the book? Were you doing all the interior artwork on the book?
Yep. Yeah. So for the very first book, I did all the art. So including all the inking, the coloring, the lettering,
Yep.
all that stuff. So
Yep.
it was me. It was a joint
That's a
project.
task, man.
me and Dave.
That's not a small amount of work.
No, and it was kind of daunting, because I mean, like I admittedly, I didn't wasn't completely familiar with the landscape of like Northern Ontario. So
Right.
I'm just like, you know what, this is too flat. I'm going to draw on some mountains.
Taking some liberties with the geography, were we, Andrew?
Just a little bit. But it makes for a compelling, visual.
Take some liberties, that's fine.
Whatever,
It's Northern Ontario. There's 4 people that live up there. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we put it together, and we announced it, and we got tremendous amount of feedback from it. We had CBC reach out, CTV News wanted to do a spot on it.
Nice.
And we printed about 200 comics in total, and I think we practically sold out that weekend.
Wow.
Which is phenomenal, and very very
Absolutely.
rare in the indie comic space. But like that was
yeah.
So after the dust settled, and all, Davis and I kind of sat down, and we're like, well, that was pretty cool. Should we do it again? Or make this a regular thing? And
Yeah.
so we've been going at it for about 10 years with that book.
Good for you guys.
Oh wow.
Still self-owned, still self-published.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How
Still
important is that in the space? Because we, especially when we were talking to some of the Ghost Machine guys and such, that movement towards that kind of image started 30 years ago or whatever, of creator-owned stuff. And this is even taking it a step further, where you don't just own it, but you're publishing it as well. How important is that for you and for the industry as a whole, to have you guys owning your stuff and publishing on your own.
Yeah, I think it's definitely definitely important. They're in a world where you have the two big companies, kind of hoarding all the ownership of all these characters. I think I think that was the drive to kind of, well, that's really essentially why Image founded in the first
Yeah,
place.
100%.
It's because they wanted something that they could have complete control over.
Yeah.
That there wasn't too many cooks in the kitchen, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important because it's just to us, it's a passion project of just telling stories and getting that representation that you don't normally see. It's always big city stories and all that, but no one's really telling those stories about the four people that live in Timmins. So it's and yeah, I think that's important. The representation matters. The camaraderie, not only between us, but like meeting other creative people, other authors and other artists, and then it just kind of started a movement, because then you had this one guy do a book in Sudbury called Big Nick. And then there's Aurora Man based out of Saskatchewan, and so all these creative, these Canadian authors and creatives, we get the ball rolling, and we kind of formed a collective where it's like, and cool. Now we actually did a few years back, we actually kind of did a big crossover book.
Really?
We did all our characters.
Nice.
That's awesome.
In that one book, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
So it was it was a lot of fun to kind of see that progress, and it's still going strong to this day. But like I think the whole Canadiana aspect to it was a big factor too. It's 100%. Just like more, more Canadian representation, more Canadian voices. So yeah, that's it's all about championing those things. And and yeah, no, I'm proud of the team, the people I've gotten to work with. I've gotten very talented, extraordinary people that I don't think I'd be able to do it, without them. It is a community effort.
And it's great to have like that creative outlet, because we were talking on the pre-show. You've been doing lettering for quite some time now, and I want to do kind of like a quick breakdown for people that maybe don't collect comics or don't know how a comic book comes together. In a lot of cases, we were talking the pre-show. It kind of takes a village, right? Like there's essentially a writer. Sometimes there's like a guy that comes up with a story, and then another guy that will write it out, and then there's going to be a guy that comes in and then pencils it out. They used to call it used to call him a penciler. I don't know if they still do or not, but back when I was collecting in the 90s, it's a penciler, and he's just basically like, these are the buildings, this is the guy, but it's I don't want to say it's flat, but it's a little more basic. The inker will then come in, put in your shading, get your depth, increase your detail level, and then your colorist will come in and actually get the colors for each individual book. And that's really important too, because your Superman book is not colored the same way as your Batman book, right? You're not going to use the same kind of color palette. And then for me anyways, and I swear to you, I'm not just blowing you up, but of those, the letterer, to me anyway, I think puts the biggest stamp on the style of a book, because at the end of the day, the visuals are great, but you spend more time reading anything in a comic than you do looking at the visuals. And 100%. If those letters, the font, the style, the types of bubbles or the squares, the color, the size, like everything goes into lettering that book, that's what's telling the story and telling the tale. And that's what you're reading as you're going through. So you've been doing lettering now, I think you said for what, a good 12 years now you've been doing it?
Yeah, give or take.
And you've been through the industry. You've worked with Kevin Smith. You've worked on Archie. You worked with IDW. You worked with Boom. You've worked with a bunch of studios doing this. Talk to us about that. How did that come across? Like, that's how you're paying the bills essentially, right? With the lettering.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And that actually, it goes back to Auric, to that, learning how to draw comics and how to, self-publish and all do this. Because it's like people don't realize that, the steps that it takes, all the different departments. But when you're doing it on your own independently, there is people don't realize that, you can write it, you can draw it, you can color it and whatever, but then you got to actually lay it out for printing, the type of, how do you lay out a book, or what type of paper do you use? And so, I was kind of getting some feedback from from some comic book shops and asking them about how they if they sell independent comics and how does that work. And the best piece of advice I got from one of the shop owners was that to make sure that I learn how to do the lettering in addition to learn how to draw, learn how to ink, color, also learn how to letter.
Yeah.
Because you could have the most phenomenal, the most amazing piece of art that you've ever drawn, but if the lettering looks like you did it on Microsoft Word, then it's just going to completely throw off the reader, throw off the experience. It's a jarring visual.
Yep.
So I took that to heart, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna learn how to letter. And I studied the greats like Comic Craft and Blambot, and just there's so many free resources online, and I just kind of learned all that I can. And then so when I finally came time to letter my own book, I felt confident enough to actually do it.
Yeah.
And even I think it still looks good to this day. So when I got a message from Davis one time, and he's like, "Oh, I got a message from Tony from Chapter House Comics. They're the guys who publish Captain Canuck.
Captain Canuck, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, they're looking for a letterer." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, you lettered the book. Can I give him your info?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So Tony reaches out. He's like, "Yeah, you know how to letter?" And I'm like,
you're like,
"Yeah,
yeah, kind of
I said,
mostly."
I sent him, the stuff that I have,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, this looks great," and all of that. Would you like to, do an issue of Captain Canuck? And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's
Canadiana, like holy balls, like it doesn't get much more Canadiana than Captain Canuck for goodness
oh
sake,
yeah."
right?
I'm like, "Absolutely." He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Here you go. Here's everything you need. We need it in 2 days." I'm like, "Oh, okay, here we go." Yeah, it was they were in a pinch.
Clearly.
So this was issue 10, I believe, that I jumped on. But so there I am studying, all the previous issues, learning the style guide. How does, all the balloons work? What's the captions look like, the font or the color palettes, you name it. And I did it. And I did it within the 2 days that they wanted it. And they're like, "Great, here's another one if you want it." And then they just kept going like that until they eventually hired me as their in-house letterer for all their books. And that was right when they expanded the Captain Canuck universe, and they had all these spin-off titles, like Freelance, Phantoma, Agents of Pact, all that. So I was doing it all.
Wow.
So I was thoroughly, I was plenty busy, with all those comics. And which was fantastic, because that's just, not only is it working, not only am I, these are paying gigs, but I'm also these are all notches on the belt. These are all, this is all padding for the portfolio.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, which is great. I'm, going to the Comic Cons, and I'm meeting the people, and I'm all these, other creatives. I'm socializing, and then as word of mouth happens, I start, getting offers from other publishers. It's like, "Oh, this person recommended you. Do you want to do this book? Do you want to do that book?" And like, it just kind of, the ball rolled from there. And I'm just like, that's when I realized, like, "Oh, hey, lettering is, opening all these doors for me.
Yeah.
Let's just ride this wave."
Yeah, because when I looked at, when I did some research on you, you said you had over 200 credits, and a lot of that's for lettering. Do you have a particular, not a favorite, because I'm not going to ask that question, but do you have one project that was particularly challenging for you? Maybe not in the timeline wise, but to get that look and feel of what, like, obviously maybe a newer book or a newer project that you came into, that you kind of had to formulate what that was going to look like, that really kind of like, "Ooh, I'm having a hard time cracking this one."
I think the one that kind of jumps out to me, there was a publisher in Toronto called Joe Books. They're not there anymore, but they had the Disney Princess license, so they
Oh,
were doing these books and these books, but they weren't like full comics. They were more like a collection of comic strips,
right.
and so they would do all
Oh.
these Disney Princess comic strips and all that. And so same thing, word of mouth. And he's like, hey, this is so and so over at Joe Books, and this person recommended you. Do you want to do some Disney Princess comics? And I'm like, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Disney's calling? Or this is younger me thinking, just, oh my god, this is me hitting
It's
the big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I go down to the studio and they're showing me the process. So typically I'll letter all my comics in Adobe Illustrator. So that's the
Right.
format in which I use. I'm accustomed to. But they're like, oh, we need you to letter this in InDesign. And at that point, I have never touched InDesign before. Like everything was done in Photoshop or in Illustrator. I've never
Right.
used InDesign.
Okay.
So they're kind of like showing me how to use it, how they do it, and it was a bit of a little bit of a learning curve. And when I took it back home, but there were times where I'm like, I was kind of doubting myself. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I entirely get what they're trying to do, or how they did achieve this certain effect. So there was a bit of back and forth with the editor. I'm like, can you just run this by me one more time just to kind of make sure I completely get it, because I'm learning this program, from the
Sure.
start, right?
Yeah.
From ground zero. And
Yeah.
so, but other than that, like there have been I wouldn't challenges in the sense that sometimes artists don't necessarily understand or know how to properly block a scene, when they're drawing something to incorporate the lettering,
Right.
because there are some like very like tight panels, and it's dialogue heavy, and so there is not
Right.
there is no room to fit all that stuff in there. So
Right.
like it's a very dialogue heavy scene and all that. So here I am trying to play around with the positioning. So like this one particular panel, it's this very narrow vertical box, and it's got like 3 or 4 different balloons, and they're pretty lengthy, and you
Right.
just can't fit it without covering the
art.
subject.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are challenges like that where it's like I will try to cut it up as much as I can, and I'll move some
Mhm.
stuff to the panel before or to the panel after.
Right.
And then there are times where it's just like you go right to the editor and I'm like, this is not possible. You need to you need to
Don't have
trim
enough
down.
real estate.
Yeah,
This is
that-
not going to work. Yeah.
That was actually
Yeah.
going to be a question. Like, what do you do? Like, you just go back to them and say, "Sorry, this doesn't work," and then what? They have to redraw it,
So-
or they have to change the text, or
I'll go in and I'll give them options where I'm like, well, this is what I can do. I can cut I can cut this balloon into 2 and I guess move it around a little bit, but ultimately, they'll probably just end up, rewriting a bunch of the dialogue, really get it to the meat and potatoes of it all.
Right.
So that has happened a couple of times, and there have been other instances where it's just like I wasn't seeing eye to eye with their vision, because I'm trying to design it one way and they want it a different way, and I'm just like, that's not that's not what's being conveyed. Like I'm trying my best to kind of realize it, but it's what you want isn't achievable,
Right.
in some cases like that. But for the most part, it's a very straightforward process where it's like, the script will break down the scene, by panel, and you got the description and then who's talking, if there's a sound effects involved or something like that. So
Yeah.
you just kind of go by, page by page, and it's very calming to me. Like it's very at this point where it's just like I really do enjoy it. Not a lot of people will. Not a lot of people in that make comics, like the lettering aspects, which is they hire someone like me to do it. But but I do it, and then I get to
Some dope ass comics, I guess, is what you get to see, right?
Yeah.
Like you get to work on some cool shit. Like you've
I
been
mean,
hooked up with Kevin Smith. How does this happen? Did that happen through the Brantford connection, or did that happen more like you're talking about them, like a networking thing?
So I that's that one's an interesting story because I didn't I wasn't really familiar with Kevin's stuff too much. Not until, at least not until COVID, not until the whole lockdown is when I really did a deep dive into Kevin. But I knew about him because of his Fat Man on Batman podcast.
Right.
And I was listening to those episodes, especially with like Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Those two, like that's where I got I got introduced to Kevin, because not only am I listening to what Scott and Greg are talking about, but I also really am enjoying everything that Kevin is saying. I'm like, this is a cool cat. This is I'll listen to this guy talk for hours, and I still do. And so it wasn't until COVID I did a deep dive, watched all his movies, became a huge fan. I joined his fan club, and then so there's a Discord server for the fan club, and every morning I would do like some warm-up doodles, of Jay and Silent Bob or other View Askew characters, and I would just drop it in, and it kind of started gaining a bit of traction, where it's just like, oh, I like your artwork, or I like what you're doing and all that. One of the perks for the membership was that every week you would do Kevin would do a Zoom call with the members, so we would all hop on a call. You talk to Kevin, well, you say talk to Kevin, but like you only like 2 or 3 people get chosen to ask a question, because Kevin just completely rambles on for 45 minutes. So fortunately I did get a chance to speak to him twice through that call, where I got to talk about me being an artist, and showing off some of my fan art, and he's like, oh, that's really cool, man, just whatever. And then I started posting that stuff on Instagram, and just kind of kept up with it until the point where Kevin started liking my stuff, and then he commented, and he's like, I love your work and all that. And then he followed me on Instagram, and I'm like, is this real life? I'm looking at my phone. Is this real? Like, I couldn't believe what happening. Yeah. So it was really cool. I got to speak with I got introduced to one of his license his main licensing guy. He reached out, and he's like, do you want to sell, you want to do some like designs for like some shirts for Kevin? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I did a few shirts for him, and then they did like the movies pop up. If you're not familiar with movies, it's an in-universe like restaurant, like a McDonald's kind of thing, a fast food joint, where it's the mascot is this golden calf and all that. So they did a pop-up in Toronto where it's like you could actually go to the restaurant, you could buy your cow tippers and whatever.
That's hilarious.
So which was a lot. It was a lot of fun. But it wasn't until so it was April 2022. Kevin and you get Kevin, you got Jay, you have Dante and Randall. They were all going over to Calgary for the expo in Calgary.
Yeah.
And this was the year, I guess, they were promoting Clerks 3. Kevin finally, made his third Clerks movie. So I think that year he did he signed a deal with Fan Expo where he would do all the Fan Expo shows, like all the main ones.
Yeah.
So
so many now.
Yeah, exactly. So they went to Calgary. I also was going to Calgary that year, so I'm like, I had to make it a point to go and meet him. I said, I'm gonna go meet him in person. And this happened to be also at the same time where he had just announced that he signed a deal with Dark Horse to create his own imprint called Secret Stash Press. Right. And he was going to write comics again. Yes. And so he was going to he announced two books, Masquerade, which is like his original superhero kind of story, and then Quick Stops, which is like an anthology series that's based in the View Askew universe. And so I'm like, okay, I got to go talk to Kevin, and I got to go ask him about it. One way or another, I was going to work on his comics. I was very, very determined. So thankfully, the comics team at Calgary was gracious enough to hook me up with a meeting with Kevin.
Wow.
They brought us over to the celebrity area, and his line was just out the door.
Huge.
It was
Yeah.
snaking.
bet.
It was like at least 2 hours, 3 hours long. People are waiting in
Yeah.
line. So they brought us right to the front, and and the thing with Kevin's the whole Kevin Smith experience too is if you go to a convention, you usually have you got the table where the celebrity is, and then you got the pipe and drape in the back with the sign and all that. With Kevin, all four sides were completely pipe and draped off.
Oh, so you can't see him. You got to be in the booth.
Yeah. You couldn't even see him as you were
seen them
waiting in
do that
line.
with some of the bigger celebrities at some of the cons for sure. Yeah.
So that complete 100% privacy.
Yeah.
So we go there. We go behind the curtain and all that. We're waiting in line as people are just kind of finishing up their talking to Kevin, and then finally it gets to to me, and I'm my heart is racing. Like it's just like, oh my god, there he is.
Like you're
it's a
very hard at this point.
Pretty hard, very starstruck at that moment.
Yeah.
So he finally he finally turns to me, and then and I am like, hey, it's Andrew Thomas, and it goes, you're the fat man who letters. And
for those who don't know, that's Andrew's Instagram handle. So yeah.
That's
he wasn't
hilarious.
just saying, hey, you're a fat guy and you letter. That is his Instagram handle. So yeah.
He goes, you're the fat man who letters.
Perfect.
And I'm like, yeah, that's me. It was just
twinkles around.
Oh my god, mind blown in that moment. And he's like, is that what you do for a living? And I'm like, yeah, like it's my bread and butter, like a comic book lettering all day long. And he goes, do you want to letter my comics?
Get
and I'm
the
like,
fuck outta here,
yeah.
I did not even have a
like
chance
a
to ask him
defibrillator
about.
machine. I'm gonna need someone to whack me with one of those a couple times because I think my
Clear.
heart fucking stopped. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to ask him.
At his booth, like in the middle of the show, he's just like, hey, you're that dude. Hey, come work for me.
Exactly. Right on the spot. I did not even get a chance to ask him about it. He just kind of led with that. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and here I'm thinking like a million follow-up questions. Like, okay, well, how do I contact you? How do I do this? How do I do that?
I get a card or something. Do I? Yeah.
And he goes, no worries. I'll make sure people reach out to you, and we'll get it sorted. That whole exchange lasted maybe 90 seconds.
Damn.
And then off I went, because like the bouncer's like tapping me on the shoulder, and he's like, yeah, you gotta keep it going, man.
Yeah. Now, would you after that 90 seconds going, are they really getting, like, were you like 100%? It's like your feet probably didn't hit the ground from the interaction, but did you have something kind of like in the back of your mind, like, is this really going to happen after a 90-second? Like, is he really?
Oh my god, 100%. I was, because I kind of, as soon as I stepped out, out of the curtain, and I'm like, did that really happen? Oh my god, my god, is that really going to happen? Did he just make a con promise?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
That had to be going through your mind.
And the guy is a heavy smoker too, like so I'm like wondering if he if he was going to remember, and I'm like, there's no way he's gonna remember this and all that. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, I get an email from editor at Dark Horse, and he's like, hey, Kevin wants you on board, here's a contract. I'm like, so you gotta be kidding me.
Start crying at this point, I'm assuming,
amazing.
right? Just weeping uncontrollably.
So it was I was on cloud, like it, like the rest of the show could have been a complete disaster.
Yeah,
but it exactly wouldn't have mattered. I made essentially a career, shaping move, or career stepping move, or whatever else they call it. But yeah, and so I respond, I'm like, oh sweet, yeah, which book does he want me to do? Because he announced 2, and he goes, oh, he wants you to do both of them. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Really?
Yeah. So it was Masquerade was first, and then I did Quick Stops after.
Yeah.
And so it was crazy. Oh, and it gets better, because the editor messages me another day, and he's like, oh, what's your phone number? Kevin wants to text you. And I'm like, okay. Just
like working on the book, like I had ideas for this or that, like type of thing. Is that
So that was when he first messaged me. He's like, Andrew, it's Kevin Smith. How are you? And I'm like, holy shit, Kevin, I'm better now.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
He's like, I know you draw. Do you also want to do a cover for Quick Stops? And I'm like,
A lie.
in all caps, I said, F yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
F yeah, like absolutely.
Yeah.
And he goes, great. Start coming up with some concepts and show me and text me and
Yeah.
whatever. So the whole texting thing is very important to Kevin because as a writer, he wanted to make sure that everything was going smoothly. And then, so when I did my job for lettering the book, he, not only he says, yeah, send it to the editor, but also send it to me because I want to read it.
Right.
And so he would be giving me notes. The editor will kind of consolidate those notes and stuff like that. So so it makes complete sense. But just
so you got his ear the whole time you're working on his books, like you're collaborating directly with him the whole time. Yeah.
So there will be a couple of times. It doesn't happen too often where it's like, oh, I have an idea for what if we did this? Like there's a couple times I did that, and he's like, I love it, run with it. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's the thing about Kevin too, is at least today, is that he is all about collaboration. He's of the mindset where it's just like, I don't get to do these things without other people, who know how to do, like, so I don't make a movie without a guy who operates the camera or who does, holds the boom mic or does this and that.
Yeah.
So as opposed to like when he first started, when he first made Clerks, he's like, I'm the director, everything is about me.
That's great.
Just very, I don't want to say pretentious, but there was a thing about being like an artiste or just back in the day. But now it's more of like hey, can you help me make a thing? And let's
the real collaboration type of thing. So I'm assuming that leads to other work as well. Like, what are you doing now? If I'm looking at your current run of whatever you're lettering or whatever art you're doing, can you give us a lowdown on what you're currently involved in?
So talking to Quick Stops, we did our third volume of Quick Stops.
Cool.
that came out just maybe a few months back at this point.
Yeah.
Each volume is only 4 issues, like the Dark Horse. That's the Dark Horse thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like 4 issues, go to trade, next volume, so on and so forth. So I did a book with Rob Guillory, who was the artist on Chew for Image.
Yep.
By the way, one of my
comic.
one of my favorite indie books of all time.
Yeah.
If you have not read Chew, please go and read it because
super great concept. Yeah.
Which one was this? I don't think I know Chew.
So it's the psychic detective. Like he takes a bite out of something, and then he gets like a psychic impression of like what happened. So if someone dies or whatever, like he kind of licks blood or whatever, and he knows how the guy dies. And
the art style is very cool as well. But concept wise, it's a dope book for sure.
And that was one of the things that hooked me was the art style. Was that it was very abstract, very unique. Like I was hooked onto his art style because it's just like he kind of gave me the realization that, hey, you don't have to necessarily adhere to certain rules. You can kind of just, like comics can be whatever you want it to be.
You can play with the perspectives and you can make it look like a fever dream almost. But super cool book.
And so that was where was I with that?
Oh, yeah. So what are you working? You're not working on Chew. You're working on something else that he's doing,
right? So he this is what I mean about like taking chances and like seizing opportunities. Because if I didn't go meet Kevin, I wouldn't have done all the books and work for him.
Yeah.
So when I followed Rob on Facebook, and like we're Facebook friends, and I see that he makes a post and he's like, oh, I just finished outlining my new creator-owned series and stuff like that. And on a whim, and I'm just, I left a comment and I'm like, hey, by any chance, do you need a letterer? And he like didn't expect much out of it until, I get a notification that he replied to me, and he's like, you know what? He's like, I might actually. And then he reaches out privately and he's like, send me your portfolio. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I think maybe about a week goes by, and I get an email, and he's like, "Yeah, the guys at Boom, like your stuff. So if you want to come on board, we'd love to have you." I'm like, "Are you shitting me right now?" Sorry for. I don't mean to curse there, but are you kidding me?
Gretzky said it best. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You just throw the comment in there. You shot your shot, and it worked.
Yeah, that's right.
That's dope. So is that a current project you're working on? You're
no, that was Mosley. So that book is already done. But he did. He let me know that he was doing another project with Ignition. There's a new publisher called Ignition Press, right. And he's like, "I'm doing another book with them. And if you want to come on board, I'd love to have you." Like, I think he said something one time on Facebook that blew my mind. Like I could not believe he said it. He goes, "Oh, there's you've been in this industry for so long that there's only a handful of people that are tried and true. Like these are ride or die kind of people." And then he lists me, and he's like, "Andrew Thomas, my letterer, you're my go-to guy from now on." And I'm like, "Are you?" So it just.
So just nothing but wins for Andrew Thomas. Like, it's just all blessings.
It was so many dubs, boys. It was
exactly.
It was crazy because I'm like very much like I suffer greatly from imposter syndrome, where it's just like there's no way in heck that this is happening to me. Like someone who I don't up to a certain point I'm like didn't think I was I didn't think I was cut out for for that kind of stuff. I thought it was just like going to take a huge swing and a miss, jumping into comics. But you know what? I kind of live with the philosophy now where it's like, yeah, if I don't seize those opportunities, or if I don't try, then you never know what you never know what you can get.
Sound advice from the man. Absolutely. JS. And are you all right? You good?
Yeah.
I'm hogging all the time as I normally do.
No,
so
that's
if you've got
quite fine.
No,
we've got some interesting stories coming along and are going on, and
I like to talk and I like to ask the questions. I apologize.
It was So I'm very, very grateful for those just not only for the opportunities, but very grateful for the collaboration, for the the people I've gotten to work with who have given me so many invaluable pieces of of advice or of experience, just getting me to to pick the brain and and whatnot. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun journey, and I just can't wait to see what's next.
The Strange New Worlds book from IDW, is that the guys that we interviewed, JS, at Fan Expo, the Hive Mind, the two gentlemen? Is it two gentlemen that write that book?
That's a good question. I think,
is that one that you're lettering, or is that a cover that you're doing?
I did a cover for that one. So I teamed up with Capcan Comics here in Brantford, and we did a bunch of retailer exclusive covers. So we did one for Star Trek, we did one for Ninja Turtles. I got them it hooked up with Kevin, so he actually came to Brantford and did a store signing at one point. Those guys are tremendous. I think they're the best shop in not only in Ontario but in Canada. And so I did fortunately I got the chance to do a bunch of covers with them. So I hope that that
you also continues. Did a Lower Decks one?
I did, yeah. That one was for the Lower Decks book. Nice. Was for the Island Fan Con out in BC.
That's very cool. What a great cover.
I freaking love Lower Decks, man. You have no idea. Such a great show. I really hope they somehow are able to
find some way. Apparently that sitcom, that live action sitcom that Tawny Newsom's working on is still in the mix. It's not greenlit, but it's still in the mix. So we'll
be
see what
down.
happens. Hopefully
I'd be
that's
down.
going to happen. Andrew, if people want to be able to follow you on Instagram or find out where you're going to be next, or get a chance to see your work, how do they go about doing that?
Instagram, the Fat Man Who Letters. I'm on Threads too. Facebook. Yeah, that's I'm not hard to find.
No. And as far as, do you ever do like commission work? Do you do, like, if you're doing like if you're at a Comic-Con, like when you're going to the Comic-Con, what do you do at are you just signing books? Like, if I want a piece from Andrew Thomas, an original cover, is that something I can get? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. For some of the bigger shows, I'll do like pre-show commissions where it's like, yeah, you could order something ahead of time and then pick up at the show, and then I'll also be doing stuff on the spot too. I started doing a new thing where I'm doing art drops now, where I'll hide original pieces of art, throughout the convention, and I'll post like a clue on my Instagram and have people kind of do like a scavenger hunt, so you can go a little scavenger for an original piece of art.
Yeah. That's
very,
very cool. So guys, if
It's
you
a
want
lot.
to meet Andrew, the best way to do that, if you're in the Southwestern Ontario area, do you have a show before Brantford, or is that your first show of the year?
No, I think I'll be in Toronto Comic-Con.
Oh, right. You're on the website.
Yeah.
I'm so stupid.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
On the website.
Yeah.
I'm on the website for that. Actually, quite a few shows booked this year. But yeah, Toronto will be the first one in Ontario that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm also doing one I'm doing the Fantastic Con in Toledo.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, I'll be up there. So Toronto Comic-Con, and then I think then Brantford, I think it will be next after that.
Canadian or Ontario based.
So come on down, BrantfordComicCon.com.
Yeah, check them out. May 9th in Brantford, a new venue this time, guys. A little bit bigger, hopefully a little bit better, and hopefully you guys keep drawing the numbers that you. Hopefully you guys keep going, keep the ball rolling, right?
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
I'll have to come out and harass you and Steve at the show at some point there on
Brantford's.
Yeah. I'm in London. It's like 45 minutes down the road. I'll have to come out and say hi to you guys.
100%. Yeah, we're gonna see. We don't want to promise anything, but
yeah.
You know what? Yeah, let me just throw that out. Andrew, thank you so much, man. This was awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Super cool. Man.
Thank you for having me, boys.
Cool. No.
Hey,
we'd love
you
to
know
have
what?
you back on. So
100%, you're welcome back anytime.
Yep.
Guys, again, if you have any questions, if you want to see Andrew, check out the Fat Man Who Letters on Instagram.
That's right.
Yep.
Any final thoughts?
No. I'm good. I'm like we got.
Thoughts?
It's so nice that we got to chat with him and get under the hood and find out what he's doing and what he's working on and what websites he's on. It's fantastic. I was really looking forward to it. So very, very cool. Like I said, I've seen Andrew a million times at a million shows, but never really had a chance to have an actual interview and a long chat with him. So this was cool to finally do this.
Yeah,
so
I also feel like
yeah,
we've for sure bumped into each other at some of these shows. 100%.
Yep.
100%. Guys, if you're still with us, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. It actually costs you $0, $0 dineros, 0 yens.
All right.
Nothing. I've had my fun.
You have your fun.
Yeah, it really helps us out. If you click the notification bell, it'll always let you know anytime we go live or upload a new video, which we haven't done in a while. But, we're going to be working on that.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, you all stay geeky, and we'll see you next week.
Stick around, Andrew. We got a little bit after the show too. So
yeah, it's the after show. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss anything.